Check, check. You guys hear me all right? Very good. All right. So, good morning. How's everybody doing? Good. All right. For those of you that don't know me, my name's Scott Sanders. I've been here, the IT supervisor at John Knox Village, for 11 years this month. So, what we do, so the IT department here, we take care of all the business networks, servers, Wi-Fi, computers, printers, IT security, and then generally anything connected to the internet or that has a screen. All right. So we take care of all that stuff here at John Knox Village. We're going to cover a couple different topics here this morning. We're going to talk about technology, how you guys can use it, how you can stay safe. And then we're going to cover kind of one of the things that you guys have probably heard a lot about. It's very popular, getting a lot of talk, is AI or artificial intelligence. All right. So first thing, also, we do an IT digital drop-in. All right. It is the second Thursday of every month over in the clubhouse multipurpose room upstairs and at 2 p.m. So what we do, me and Chris, who is the other staff member in the IT department here at John Knox Village, we sit down with you one-on-one, take a look at your devices, answer any questions, help you with issues that you might be having. I see some of us that are here today have stopped in, and we appreciate you guys doing that. We're very glad that we're able to help you guys out with those things. So if you do show up, bring your iPad, bring your iPhone, bring your mobile device, bring your laptop, or just bring your questions. We also have some residents who stopped by and helped sign up for Cubigo. Shannon was there last time helping residents sign up for VAL if you hadn't been included on those VAL stuff as well. So please, every second Thursday of the month, multi-purpose room, 2 p.m., digital drop-in. All right? All right, so did you guys know October is Cybersecurity Awareness Month? So we recognize Cybersecurity Awareness Month in our increasingly digital world. It's as important as locking your door and keeping yourself safe online, right? At times we can get more stolen online than we could if we just left our doors open. But please don't leave your doors unlocked either, okay? So this month is kind of dedicated to showing everyone you don't need to be a technology expert to be secure. There are little things that you can do, and the goal is to, show the core steps of what we can do to protect ourselves, protect our personal information, our finances, and have a little peace of mind from online threats. And today we're going to focus on some of what those biggest threats are, give you some actionable tips, some information on recognizing red flags, enabling few key things that can make the difference in keeping your devices safe. And your digital safety is in your hands, right? It's a lot of what you do or you don't do in order to let malicious actors into your devices. And we're going to help you, better understand how to secure those devices and potentially answer or bring up a lot more questions you may have as well. So let's go ahead and get started in online safety and security. So who here has ever received phishing attempts on their phone, their email, via text message or a pop-up on their computer? Most of us here that use technology, right? Which most of you guys probably do. So some of the things we are going to cover today are going to be, understanding your cybersecurity risks, strong passwords, multi-factor authentication, keeping your software up to date, keeping your antivirus up to date. What antivirus do you need, right? What do I need for antivirus? Keeping your personal information safe, and then what you should do with Wi-Fi networks, specifically public Wi-Fi networks. All right, so understanding cybersecurity risks, everybody, we need to be aware of what those common cybersecurity risks are. So, and we're going to go over all that stuff and help you guys out with all of that. So we're going to start off using strong passwords. Who here uses passwords that are at least 14 characters long? 14. Just a couple of us. So 14 is kind of the standard of where we need to be now with brute force and what, again, AI can help us do in cracking passwords. So we want to make sure we create strong, unique passwords. We would like to use passwords that are unique for each account that we have. That makes it the most secure. I know that can't always happen, but that's what we want to do. And so a strong password is going to be a password that is at least 14 characters long, contains an upper lowercase letter and a number, and potentially a special character. So exclamation point, dollar sign, pound sign, number sign, asterisk, ampersand, those types of things are special characters. If you didn't know, you can also place spaces in your passwords as well. So a space is a character that can be in a password. So when you're creating passwords, avoid easily guessable information like making your password password. All right, making your password welcome123. All of those things are easily guessable, and they're on the worst password list that get tried when an account tries to be compromised. Avoid sharing your password with others. Obviously, if you give your password to a family member, a friend, a neighbor, whoever it may be, anybody that has your password has access to your accounts, and what they're doing looks like it's done by you. A lot of times with online accounts or services, we have password reset questions. We want to make sure as part of those password reset questions that we're not using information that can be easily found out online. So if your password reset question is, where was I born? A lot of times I can find out where you're born, whether that's social media and you list my hometown as Orange City, Florida, right? Or even maiden names. I've seen maiden names listed. You know, you list family members in Facebook of everybody who you're connected to. So if you have a public Facebook, this information can be gathered. So make sure that when you're doing that you don't use information that can easily be found online. Also recommended not to write your passwords down in plain text format. How many of us write our passwords down in a notepad? How many have that notepad with us today? No? Kept at home? All right. So my dad is terrible at this. He writes all of his passwords down on this little notepad, spiral-bound notepad, and it's with him everywhere he goes. Right? And I've told him 100 times, don't do that. It's not safe. He continues to do it. I will say when he needs a password, it's in there. But if he loses that book, everything that he needs is in that book. It's not backed up anywhere. He doesn't have access to it anywhere else. And whoever finds that book has access to it. So we mentioned always trying to use a different password for each account. It's really tough to remember 900 passwords, right? Because we all go everywhere on the internet, and everywhere you go wants an account. So the recommendation, obviously, use a different password. Why do we want to use a different password? Because in the event that that a breach happens on an account, so if Amazon has a breach and their passwords are released to everybody, email address, password is released, it gets put on the dark web, and then it's get passed around. Malicious actors then attempt to use those same credentials in other accounts online in order to gain access to your accounts. So if you use the same email address or username and password combination, it'll be used on other websites as well. So, well, how do we get away from that? How do we get away from that is password managers. Who here uses a password manager? Very good, as we should. So a password manager requires you to remember one password. All right, you now have one password, and that's the only password you need. Don't forget the one. All right, don't forget the one. That password manager will store all of your passwords, and then when you go to a website, you have the option to auto-fill that username and password as well into the username and password field. And so you only need that password, the one password. And so this allows you, the password manager will also create unique passwords for each account that you need. And it's a bunch of gobbledygook that nobody knows and you'll never remember it, but the password manager has it in there for you. And so a couple of the recommended password managers, the one that I use personally is Bitwarden. It's free, completely free. I believe also completely free for PC and mobile device, one of the only ones that does both. NordPass and then ProtonPass are also recommended, and all are free options as well. Bitwarden, W-A-R-D-E-N, Bitwarden. This will be given out as well in the whole presentation will be posted to the portal. Multi-factor authentication, MFA, or 2FA. Does anybody here know what multi-factor authentication is? A couple of us? All right, so multi-factor authentication basically means you need 2 ways to log in. And a lot of you are saying, I can't remember my 1 password. Now I need 2, okay? And I know that sounds kind of counterintuitive to have 2 passwords, but what multi-factor authentication, MFA, or 2-factor authentication, 2FA is specifically is something you know, my password, and then something I have. And that something I have ends up getting sent to you, either via text message code. You can also sometimes get a phone call code, or you have an authenticator app like Google Authenticator, Microsoft Authenticator, Duo Mobile. So when you sign up for those accounts, you either download the app. Again, you can choose the text message option. That way it's sent to you. When you go to log in, you put your username, your password, and then it says, now I need your MFA code. And so it sends you the text. You put in a 6-digit code typically, sometimes 4, sometimes 5, sometimes 7. You get a 6-digit, typically numerical only code. You put that in, now you log in. So why is 2FA important? 2FA is important because in a data breach, if your credentials are compromised, malicious actors still are not able to get into your accounts because they don't have your MFA code. Okay, that MFA code is that extra step. Think of it as having 2 locks on your door at your house. Both are separate keyed. You lose one key, but you lock both locks. Somebody trying to get into your house with your key can't get in, right? They need the second key. All right, MFA is very important. Most accounts nowadays have the option for MFA. I do recommend that you enable MFA, specifically if nowhere else than places like financial institutions, Amazon, anywhere you can online order, things like that, because those things, when they're compromised, they can specifically cost you money right now and fast. Does anybody have any questions on MFA? Yes, sir.
Okay, not too close.
On my Amazon account, I had a strong password generated by my the password manager and 2-factor.
Yes, sir.
Somehow, a malicious actor charged an Apple gift card on my account. Do you have any explanation for that whatsoever?
So I've seen this recently with we did have some residents that had some fraud, malicious activity on their accounts. What we found was the malicious actor had physical access to their PC. And so that was, other than that, I don't have an answer for it. I would love to talk with you at our drop-in next month and discuss the details of what happened. But with 2FA enabled, depending on it, it's just difficult for me to say right now. But I would love to have that conversation if you guys want to come to our digital drop-in on the second Tuesday. What's that date, Amanda? November 13th. So just a couple weeks, but I'd love to have that conversation to discuss what happened and try to figure it out. I love working through those kinds of problems. So thank you for your question. All right, updating your devices. This is your software generally, or the operating system that runs, or the firmware. It's important to keep that up to date. That way the most recent patches, security patches, and even feature updates get pushed to your devices. So turning on auto update. If possible, turn it on. We want those things up to date. All right. We think sometimes that we don't want auto update, we don't want new things to happen, but there are security patches that get pushed. So those security patches are important so that your device is not as easily compromised by malicious actors. Checking for updates regularly on applications that maybe don't have auto update. And then the other important part there is the antivirus. So with antivirus, Windows now includes, and it didn't always, but now includes what's called Windows Defender. Windows Defender is a top 10 antivirus program in the market. Microsoft has spent a lot of time and money developing that application, and it takes the place of your McAfee, Norton, AVG, and those kinds of things. Now the issue comes when you buy a new PC. What does it always come installed with? McAfee, Norton. 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, whatever they give you, sometimes a year free of that service. And then it starts popping up after a year, hey, we want you to pay us. All right? It's not necessary to use those applications anymore. You're certainly free to use them. There's nothing wrong with them. They work just fine. But the one included with Windows, Windows Defender, is sufficient to take the place of those, and it is completely free. And as long as you have auto update turned on your operating system, your antivirus will also always be up to date as well. Okay? I don't work for Microsoft, it sounds like I do, but it is very sufficient and it does its job very well. It's what we use here on campus. We just use another product on top of it in order to make sure we have a portal into all of our PCs here on campus, so we don't have to go to each one to check everything. We get reports into an online dashboard portal. So we use Windows Defender here on as our corporate antivirus as well. All right, practicing safe habits online. All right, so protecting your personal information. One of the most important things we want to do, right? Protect our personal information online. So avoid sharing sensitive personal information online. So you want to be careful when sharing your full name, address, phone number, financial details, anything that ties you kind of all together in order to get that. And as part of that, being mindful of your privacy settings on social media. Who here has social media? Whether it's Facebook, any of the other ones, Instagram, Twitter, now X, all those kinds of things. So if your settings are set to public, or you've friended people who you just, maybe I know them, I'm not really sure, they friended me, I'll click yes. We want to be real careful when we do that, who we friend, what our privacy settings are. I know mine specifically, public is you're not seeing very much, maybe just my name. I'm sure you see the profile picture as well. But your social media is important because malicious actors can use that information in order to target you. So if your information's public, and even just as simple or as easy as travel plans that I'm going to be out of town, I'm in Italy. Malicious actor can now target you based on that information, right? They can target you based on that information. They can make scams target you based on the fact that you're out of town, right? And it's not necessarily going to happen here, but outside of John Knox Village, if you post that you're out of town, you now have a guy potentially coming to break into your house. They know you're not there. What do they have to be worried about there? Right? They're already going to take that risk. Now take the risk on somebody that's not home. So be careful what you post, who you friend, and the information that's on there. And this is not to scare you from posting that you are going on a trip or the photos that you had on a trip. But be careful of who your friends are and who you've accepted as friends on your social media. So it's just going to reduce the opportunity to have identity fraud or phishing attempts in order to target you. And then public Wi-Fi. So who here connects to public Wi-Fi when they're out, whether you're at an airport, a business, you're over at Starbucks, where you're at, right? We're sitting around. We don't want to use our phone data. We're going to use the Wi-Fi. Or maybe the phone data is not working well because the signal's not good. All right? So the issue with public Wi-Fi in those locations is that they're not always secure, right? We don't know who set them up. We don't know what the settings are. For instance, our Wi-Fi here that's public, JKV Residence, John Knox Guest Wi-Fi, when you're connected to those, we secure that, all right? You do have to enter a password, And we also make sure that other devices aren't able to talk to other devices, right? So you can't see this device can't see yours, and that's the issue. Not all public Wi-Fi is set up the same. And so in the event that you are doing any type of confidential transactions or accessing confidential websites, that information can be what's called eavesdropped. And so eavesdropping is when your information is basically filtered into or secretly intercepted and captured in plain text, because that's not a secured network. The other vulnerability that happens is you have an evil twin network that's set up. Right? So we go to Starbucks, and Starbucks has Starbucks guest Wi-Fi. And it's all spelled out, and there's spaces in it, and then you have one that's Starbucks _ guest _ Wi-Fi. And that one doesn't have a password. You're like, well, I don't feel like going to get the password from the barista. I'm just going to click on the one that doesn't have a password. Well, that's an evil twin network that is set up specifically to steal your information, try to access your device, or just try to snoop on what you're doing on the internet. And if you're doing banking information, they could potentially grab your username and password to those financial institutions. And so you have to be very careful when connecting to public Wi-Fi. How do we fix the issue if we are on public Wi-Fi? For one, try not to do financial transactions or those types of things on public Wi-Fi. But a VPN or a virtual private network secures your data between you and where you're going, so wherever that is. So a virtual private network will protect you in those situations. So a virtual private network, what it does is encrypts your data. And without that encryption password, nobody can see that information except the encryption website on the other side. All right, so let's switch over and kind of get a little more specific on online safety and security and what it is that you can do specifically and how we can spot these kinds of things. So a couple of things we're going to cover. We've got phishing scams, malware, identity theft, online scams, social engineering, and data breaches. So data breaches are when cyber criminals gain unauthorized access to sensitive data stored by organizations such as personal information, financial records, medical records. You guys probably have seen that you get letters in the mail from time to time, whether it's PHI that's been breached, and you get, they're going to sign you up for life alert for a year because of that breach. So those are data breaches, and we need to be cautious of them, and that's why we set our passwords different for each online account. Recognizing and reporting scams. So 3 big red flags, or the scammer's toolkit, right? They're almost always going to do these 3 things. All right? Urgency or fear. You must act now, or you'll be arrested. You're going to lose your benefits, or your account's going to be closed. Okay? That's not going to happen. The urgency fear is to get you to act now. All right? The police aren't calling you to come arrest you. They're just going to come do it. All right? Unusual payment requests. So anytime you get a request to go to the Bitcoin machine on the outskirts of town at the sketchy gas station, don't do that ever. Okay? Don't do it ever. It has legitimate uses, but not when somebody's called you and asked you to go to there to get a payment, to send it to the IRS, right? The IRS doesn't accept Bitcoin as far as I know. So no legitimate company or government agency is ever going to ask you to go buy an Apple gift card to pay them, an Amazon gift card, a Target gift card, again, or go to that sketchy gas station on the outskirts of town to use the Bitcoin machine. And then impersonation. So the other things that all these malicious actors do is they pretend to be someone you trust, whether that's the IRS, the government, from the Medicare office, Amazon, local police department, or even a grandchild. Right? The grandchild scam, we're going to talk about that. So they're gonna do these 3 things almost all the time, and it's whether it comes in an email, whether they're talking to you on the phone, or it comes through a text message. Urgency and fear is number 1. Impersonation, and then almost always unusual payment. All All right. Another unusual payment one that's not listed here though, but that just kind of popped in my mind is Zelle. I don't know why Zelle specifically, but Zelle is one that a lot of times is used by malicious actors as a payment option. Some common scams. So we talked about some of these a little bit, but the government, IRS, Social Security, Medicare scam, they threaten arrest or lose benefits. But the IRS, Social Security is not going to call you demanding immediate payment or threaten police action. Doesn't happen. Just hang up the phone. Delete the email. Ignore it. The grandparent scam. This one for all of us I know is, near and dear to our hearts, all of our grandchildren, right? We want to keep them safe. We want to make sure they're safe. We want to help them out in any way that they can. But what happens is a caller pretends to be a grandchild in distress. They've had an accident. They're in jail. They need money fast. And they don't ever want you to call the parent and let the parent know that you've received the call from the grandchild. They want to keep it a secret, right? Urgency, fear, and questionable payment methods, and impersonation. So, what should we do? Hang up, call that grandchild on their phone number. Call the grandchild's parent. All right. Make sure that you've verified that the threat or that what they're asking for is real. Verify that information. Okay? The other thing that can happen is it's very easy to spoof phone numbers now. The call can actually look like it comes from your grandchild's phone. But when you call back, it doesn't call the malicious actor's phone. So be very careful with those ones. They can again, with AI, which we're going to get into, they can make the voice sound like your grandchild's voice. They only need small snippets of that voice potentially in order to make that voice sound like your grandchild's voice. Tech support scams. We've all seen these ones, right? We know about these ones. So you get a pop-up or somebody calls saying, hey, this is Windows. We're calling because your computer's infected. We need you to give us access so that we can fix your issue, or they're going to ask for money. When you give them access, they now have unsolicited access to your computer directly, straight into your computer. They don't need you to say yes. They don't need any of that. Now they're able to access any site that you had access to, and they're able to then send emails in order to get other people to potentially scam as well. So what happens if we do get tricked by these people? Because again, these are professionals also. This is their job. The same way that the mechanic is good at fixing your car, these individuals are good at scamming people. So what do you do if this does happen to you? Hang up, close that window in your computer, and if you feel that there's a little bit more to it, recommendation, turn it off. Unplug it from the wall. Take it to somebody that you trust. Tech support company, I think Will, who works here, comes out and sees residents for that, would be a great option as well. And then the email invitation scams. So you receive an email asking you to accept an invitation, or you've received an invitation to a party or a celebration. All right, these are almost always a scam and potentially lead to compromising your devices. All right, if you do get one and you think, oh, well, maybe they did invite me to something. If they're inviting you, you probably know who they are. You probably have their phone number. Just call them and ask, hey, did you invite me to this? You're either going to say, yes, I sent you this invitation, or they're going to say, no, I don't know what that is, and then you can go ahead and delete it. All right, very easy. Verify the information. Don't just trust where it came from. Verify the information. All right, phishing. We have 4 different types of phishing up here. So email phishing, probably the most common form. Generally, it's a cyber attack, uses email as a method of contacting potential victims. So typically mass emailed campaigns cast a wide net as phishing lures that are sent to a vast number of recipients. Email is going to include a malicious link, attachment, try to get the person receiving the message to click on that link or attachment. And again, they're going to express a sense of urgency or fear, or it's going to be curious and you're going to want to potentially click on it. Be very cautious of these. Again, Reach out to the person that sent it. Hey, did you send me this? Don't respond via email. We've had this happen as well. You respond via email, but that person's email is already compromised. So the person's responding to you saying, yes, I sent this to you, it's legitimate, is the malicious actor. Okay? So always go outside of the means that you were contacted. Vishing. All right, vishing is just a term for voice phishing. All right, so it's done via a phone call. And again, they're going to impersonate an authority or a trusted organization, IRS, bank representative, tech support, Medicare, Social Security office, things like that. And again, they're going to try to get you to take some sort of action. They're going to move fast. Again, they are professionals. It's their job. It's what they've been trained to do. So they're going to confuse and fluster you to make it a lot easier for you to believe what they're trying to tell you to do because they're not giving you time to think. Hang up the phone call. Ignore it, please. Smishing, text messages, same thing as email, but it's coming via text message. And then spear phishing. This one's probably the most one you need to be cautious about. Spear phishing is going to involve a degree of social engineering, and they're going to tailor the message specifically to you. Okay? We've had staff members get text messages that look like they come directly from Joe Trainer to their phone, and they start asking them to do things, and it starts out just kind of very, very vague. Hey Brian, this is Joe. Can you call me back real quick? I have something urgent. Or can you text me back? And they text back. Hey, I need you to go to that Skessy gas station on the outskirts of town, get $500 out of the Bitcoin machine, we'll reimburse you. Okay? Targeted to the person, they know the names, they know that Joe is a leader of the organization, and so they've targeted very specifically, and so that makes it more believable. Again, these guys are pros. It's what they're trained to do for their job. All right, I got a quick video here on vishing. It's very easy, and we're going to see how easily that can happen. Let's see if we got good audio.
My name is Don Holmes. I live in Sun City West, Arizona. In this community, we're all seniors. After you move in here, even if you don't know anybody, you get to know other people you enjoy doing things with. I use a computer predominantly for email and to get the news. One day a thing pops up and kind of blocks the screen and says, you've got all kinds of viruses in your computer. The design of the pop-up had a Microsoft logo on the top, and they had a number. And I couldn't get rid of this thing on the screen. Turned the computer off, turned it back on, still there. So I called the number. They identified themselves as Microsoft. I had no feeling that there was anything wrong.
Tech support scams are real, and they're causing enormous consumer injury, hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars, and that's just based on the FTC's own law enforcement work. Just like Mr. Holmes, a lot of people are getting pop-ups on their screens, and often they claim to be associated with a company such as Microsoft or Apple, giving them lots of credibility.
They told me they would clear what they considered to be malware in there. In order to clear it up, they needed to get into my computer and have my control of the computer turned over to them. So I gave them my password. They went in, the thing came off of the screen. When I went back to my computer the next day, I couldn't access my files.
You'd never let a stranger into your house. Don't let one into your computer. If you get a pop-up, don't click on a link. If you get a phone call from someone who says your computer's security is at risk, don't listen to them. Stop, take the time to talk to a friend, talk to a family member.
When this happened to me, I was a little bit embarrassed. I mean, I consider myself fairly alert, but I was targeted and I was scammed. I didn't really want to talk about this, but I realized that if I didn't talk about it, that if I didn't file the complaint with the Attorney General, that if I didn't file a complaint with the FTC, that I would have shrunk into myself. And by talking about it, by talking to all my friends,
They're not amateurs, Don.
I began to realize that they also started talking, and they started indicating that they had experienced similar things. That kind of community, that kind of exposure, it's not an embarrassment, it's just something that happens when you're a senior. You have to talk about to other seniors. What I would suggest is contact the FTC. They have a website. You can fill out a complaint online. We can be empowered with your family, your friends, and other people within your community to try to put a stop, or at least protect ourselves from these kinds of scams.
So just an example of how easily that can happen and how it affects other people as well, right? Social engineering scams. We've talked about some of these already. We're going to go through them a little bit quickly. But what is social engineering? Again, tactic where scammers trick you into giving out personal information or access to your accounts. Instead of hacking computers, they manipulate people by gaining their trust or creating a sense of urgency. So some of the social engineering scams: phishing, tech support scams, impersonation. And then, so how do you protect yourself? Be cautious of unexpected requests for personal or financial information. Don't click on links in email or text, specifically from unknown sources. Hang up, don't answer the phone if you get those types of calls, and verify the identity. Call back using a trusted source or the official phone number, which you find from their website or that you previously had. It's a financial institution, typically that number's on the back of the card, right? On the back of the card, on the statement that you receive in the mail. Use those numbers. I got another quick video here on social engineering and how dangerous and easy it can happen as well.
Invited Chris to hack me with his team. Just use a phone.
Issues by testing vulnerabilities for like a network test, but it's for the people network. We test those vulnerabilities, see where the holes are, and then help people learn so they can patch them.
Can we try some of this? Can we try some?
Yeah.
See if it works?
Yeah, we probably could have our star visher here make some phone calls as your
Let's do
girlfriend.
it.
Sure. Do you want to do a sample phishing call?
What's phishing?
Phishing is voice solicitation, and basically what you do is you use the phone to extract information. A phone provider?
Okay. I bet they're good. I bet they have my back.
Number, so it's going to look like it's calling from
We'll jump
you.
ahead just a little
Okay.
bit here.
Hi, I'm so sorry. Can you hear me okay? My baby, I'm sorry. my husband's like, we're about to apply for a loan and we just had a baby and he's like, get this done by today. So I'm so sorry. I can't call you back. I'm trying to log into our account for uses information and I can't remember what email address we used to log the account. The baby's crying and can you help me? Awesome.
In just 30 seconds,
gmail.com?
Jessica gets my personal email address.
Now, if I needed to add our older daughter on our account so she could call in and make changes, how would I need to go about doing that? You would have to send me a secure PIN through a text message? Yeah, well, the thing is, I don't think I'll be able to receive a text message if I'm on the phone. Shh, shh, shh. Oh, I'm not on there either? So I thought when we got married, he added me to the account. Okay, my
Jessica uses my girlfriend's name and a fake social security number
5127.
to set up her own personal access to my account.
Wait, I'm sorry, so there's no password on my account right now? Can I set that up?
She even gets the support person to change my
Thank
password.
you so much for your help today.
So she just basically blocked me out of my own account.
I'll get her fed after this. All right, thank you.
Holy shit. So
Again, these are professionals, right? That was professional. They knew what they were doing. It was very targeted. They had very limited information. And yet, this actually happened in real life. She was able to get access to his accounts and change his password to his account. She now has access. She can now order phones, order phone lines, do whatever she wants on that account. And he can't even get into it. So again, these guys are professionals. All right, they're professionals. It's what they're trained to do. But what do I do if I've been scammed? So first thing there, stop, pause, don't be embarrassed. Stop the contact, realize the professional criminals have tricked you. It can happen to anyone. And again, remember, these are professionals. Just like your mechanic's really good at fixing your car, these guys are really good at getting people to give them money. They've honed their craft to trick you. And so what are we going to do? Know who to call. The ABC plan. Alert your bank or credit card company. Call the number on the card or on your statement. Not so often anymore we can go down to the bank, but you can also go down to the bank and let them know as well. Block the communication with the phone number or the email address so that there can't be any further contact. And then call an authority. Report the scam to JKV. Call the FTC, Department of Law Enforcement, local police. Report that scam that it happened. Malware. So what is malware? Short for malicious software. And it typically is software that's going to harm your computer, smartphone, or tablet. Hackers or malicious actors are going to use malware to steal your personal information, damage your device, or hold your data hostage. A couple different types of malware. You've got viruses, spyware, and ransomware. Viruses spread through infected emails, websites, and can potentially damage your files. Spyware is going to manage what you're doing, collect sensitive information in order to gain access to your accounts. And then ransomware is going to basically encrypt your files on your device so that you can't access them, and they're going to demand money to unlock it. So your antivirus will help with this immensely, but it also comes down to you. Don't click the link. Don't go to this sketchy website. And so don't click on those links or emails from people you don't know, or verify that they've sent it to you. Keep your software up to date, and again, use an antivirus application. All right, let's switch gears just a little bit. We're going to run through this real quick because I got some fun stuff we want to get to, and we're running up on an hour already. So navigating the digital age. Everybody here today uses a computer, tablet, or smartphone in your daily life? Generally, yes, good. So what are some of the opportunities and benefits of technology? So we can stay connected and social. We have health and wellness empowerment, and then independence and convenience. So staying connected and social. How many of you have used Zoom, FaceTime, or a video call app? So I'm sure a lot of us used it during COVID. I know that was, everybody's Zooming everybody. That was fun, right? Better than being in person, right? Not even a little bit. But it does allow us to bridge the difference, right? So Zoom calls, FaceTime, WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, all of those things. We can see, talk to family and friends, get that face-to-face a little bit when they live out of state or you don't get to see them very often. Social media, same thing. You can connect with family and friends, keep up with what they're doing. You follow hobbies and interests, join online communities. And then lifelong learning. Be able to access online courses and tutorials and information resources, how-to videos, news, that kind of thing. Health and wellness empowerment. So telehealth and portals. Anybody here done a telehealth appointment? Yeah? Again, those are fun, right? We get to talk through the phone to a doctor, and then without even seeing us, they get to tell us what to do. Accessing virtual doctor's appointments, managing medical records, prescriptions through online patient portals, health concierges. I know it's something that Advent Health offers, depending on your doctor's office, can assist with prescription refills, scheduling tests, or doctor's appointments. So you don't even have to call the office. You send a message through the portal. Somebody helps you out with what's going on, and you can have a back and forth. Health trackers. Who here has a smartwatch? Smartwatch? Great. I love my smartwatch. It reminds me I need to get up sometimes, right? I sit behind the computer, I'm working. It could be hours just sitting there, forgetting to get up. My smartwatch will tell me that I need to get up. So it reminds me that, it's, 2 o'clock and I've taken 1,500 steps today. That's not very good. So it reminds me of what I need to do. And, you can set up things like medication reminders. You can do your fitness tracking and, monitor vital signs as well. Smartwatches have come a long way. It can do a lot of stuff now. They can detect crashes. You get in a car crash, they'll detect a crash, automatically call an emergency contact or emergency services for you. It can detect falls. It can alert you to a potential cardiac episode. Right? It saved people's lives due to those things. And then mental stimulation, engaging with brain games, online puzzles, educational content to maintain that cognitive health. Independence and convenience, online services. We all love shopping online, right? I don't think I go to a store when I do my Christmas shopping. It's all online. They deliver it to my house. There's just boxes piled up everywhere. But there's a convenience in online shopping. You can get your groceries delivered, your medication, your clothing, all that kind of stuff. Do your banking online, and even book all your travel online. Smart home tech, you've got your voice assistants, Alexa, Google, Siri, control lights, set reminders, hands-free information. And then accessibility features. So utilize built-in features like larger text, screen magnification, or text-to-speech, and voice control. So along with technology, we have challenges. We have, harder to see, harder to hear, all those kinds of things. So those adaptive technologies can help us out. So most devices have a plethora of assistive technologies that you're probably not even aware of. Some of the things that assistive technologies do on a smartphone is a little bit ridiculous on some of the things they do. But so you can set larger font sizes, high contrast displays in order to see better. Text to speech. So your phone will read out to you what's on the screen. It'll read out text messages so that you, if you have a difficult time reading what's on the screen. Speech recognition software. If you're unable to type on those little keyboards real well, you can speak to your phone. It'll put that text in there for you. There's options for like easy to use or simplified interfaces, so you don't have all this stuff all over the place on your phone. All phones come installed with hundreds of apps, and everything's on there, and it can be confusing. Things for PCs like ergonomic keyboards and mice, and then you got your touchscreen devices for an intuitive interaction experience so that it's easy to navigate. A couple websites. These will show up in the portal on Cubigo. So a couple places to go: GFC Global, AARP Tech, Tech Life Unity, Senior Planet, the Public Library Association, and My Medicare Matters. All good sites for things to go to and see what they have to offer. All right, so we've been generally serious the whole time, so let's have a little bit of fun here with artificial intelligence. All right, does everybody here have an idea of what AI is? Yes? Who here has used AI? A few of us? So, who here thinks they've seen or heard AI? All right, so you've likely seen or heard AI even if you didn't realize that you have. So, there was a company that created an ad strictly using AI, and it cost them approximately $2,000, and it was completed in less than 72 hours from start to finish, all using Google's VO3 AI video tool. All right, this ad wasn't just some ad that went on a website or was in YouTube. This ad aired during the 2025 NBA Finals. All right, so it was out there for a lot of people to see. And you may not know that the ad was AI, with the exception that it's a bit out there. All right, it doesn't just look like something kind of normal, and that's one of the things that you'll kind of recognize here. So, but what is AI? AI is designed to understand and generate human-like text based on the input it receives. Who wants to see that ad? All right, it's about 30 seconds. All right, I got one hand in the back, a couple of us here. I'm going to show it anyway because I think it's kind of funny. But, so you guys may have seen this, you may not have seen this, but this is all completely done via AI. So again, none of these actors were paid. They didn't have to get any permits to use a facility, and it cost $2,000. What do we think this would have cost? And just think about that. Had they had to pay for all the actors, all the permits, all the equipment, and everything that happened in this video, and just think and remind that this was a $2,000 effort.
Indiana gonna win, baby!
We're in Florida asking people what they put their money on! I'm all in on OKC!
Indiana got that dog in them!
Will egg prices go up this month?
I think we'll hit $20. How many hurricanes do you think we'll have this year?
Kalshi!
Kalshi lets you legally trade on anything, anywhere in the U.S. OKC!
Indy! OKC!
So none of those actors were real people. None of what happened there actually happened in real life anywhere. That was essentially created out of thin air by AI. All of it, completely. There's a little bit of crazy stuff going on there, but not completely unbelievable, right? And so we see that and we think, yeah, I could believe that. So it's important to know what AI can do and that, you know, potentially where it's being used.
Indiana gonna win!
We're not going to watch it again, sorry. Now that we've seen that, I want to move on. I've just got a couple-minute video here on AI. Sorry, we'll go to this one. Just a couple-minute video here on AI.
Science fiction movies often depict scenarios where robots take over humanity, causing us to wonder if this could ever become a reality. While it is difficult to predict the future, it is unlikely that this type of event will occur in the near future. However, artificial intelligence continues to advance at a rapid pace and is capable of performing tasks that were once thought to be impossible. One example of this is ChatGPT, a chatbot developed by OpenAI, a startup founded by Elon Musk. The name GPT stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer, which refers to the chatbot's ability to generate new text based on a large dataset that it has been pre-trained on. The chatbot only has access to information till it was trained, which is until 2021. That's why sometimes it renders some questions useless, as it is unaware of recent developments. ChatGPT is able to perform a variety of tasks, including summarizing long paragraphs, suggesting food ideas, and even coding in Python at a fast pace. Its capabilities are truly impressive, and when it was launched in November 2022, it gained 1 million users in just 5 days. While ChatGPT can be a valuable tool, it is important to note that it is not always reliable and may not always provide accurate answers, according to OpenAI. This is something to consider when using ChatGPT or any other artificial intelligence technology. However, despite its limitations, ChatGPT represents the potential of artificial intelligence and the amazing capabilities that these technologies may have in the future. It is a glimpse into what is possible with artificial intelligence and the potential it has to revolutionize various industries and change the way we live and work.
All right, so we're going to see some examples here of what AI can do. Who knew that AI could create full songs with voice, music, everything? Full songs, right? So, I created a song with just a simple prompt. I don't specifically recall the prompt, but here's that song.
Sunset skies, the golden light. Waves are dancing in the night. Orange City, we're so free. You and I by the rolling sea. Florida our toes, we walk slow. Feel the warmth of the wind as it blows. From sunrise to the evening glow. In Orange City, time moves so slow. Florida love, warm as the breeze, falling in the waves.
All right, so we'll just cut that there. But that song was put into an AI music generator and took approximately 4 minutes to make start to finish. I didn't give it lyrics. I told it generally what type of music, upbeat, pop song, about a couple specific things. You guys maybe have heard the word Orange City in there, right? So that was part of the prompt of Orange City, right? And so, again, I didn't give it any lyrics. So imagine the possibilities of what we could do without needing any of the equipment or even knowing how to play an instrument. You can now be a music composer. You can be a band. You can be a musical artist if you want to. You can speed up the beat. You can change every detail to the song via prompts. You can add a backup singer to the chorus after. It creates the bass song. Now you tell it what to change, what to do, what you want it to do. So the possibilities are really endless on what you can do, what AI can do. Now, most of these services do have a monthly fee. They want to get paid. But this one I was able to do completely for free. Another quick example here of just a video. I think this is 30 seconds long. Again, a prompt, make a video.
You need to watch this if you struggle with slowing down or starting back up. See how small routines fuel big energy. It's not age, it's attitude. He lands a base at sunrise, then trades the rod for a paddle and a few fierce volleys. Afternoon finds him kneeling between tomatoes and thyme, hands busy, smile easy. Quiet grit, active life. Every move matters. Get out there and keep going.
So that was a video I prompted AI to create of someone fishing, playing pickleball, and gardening. And it took around 2 to 3 minutes to create, and again, completely created out of thin air. And again, a free version, you guys saw the watermark and stuff on there. So
you need to
things that AI can do there.
Such a lovely
these were some that I thought that were just kind of funny. And again, I'm just trying to display what AI can do, what you may have seen, and whether you think these even look like AI. And again, I just think this one's a little bit funny.
No, you took my snack. Yes, you did. I saw you. You can't eat everything, Sonny. No yelling. Use your inside voice. I'm serious. Sit down.
All right, so that's just a little video, right? It could be believable. Who thinks that could be real? Real enough, right? Close enough. And I agree. You kind of have to look at it and be like, well, it looks real, but it's maybe a little bit off. They're maybe a little bit too close together. And if you really look close, the polka dots on the girl's shirt kind of dance around. Because AI doesn't get it perfect. It's hard to see here, but it dances around. And so some of the things kind of tip you off to that. So some of the things you can look for when you see videos online and you're not sure whether this is real or false. Right? This can be applied to local officials, government officials, events, whether it's news events or anything like that, right? Here's another one, really quick. This one you're definitely going to know is AI, but take a look at why we think it's AI.
Are you sure you can fix this?
Right, so it's just funny. It's AI, but these are the things that AI can do, right? So these are the things that AI can do. And, is it believable? No, that one's not believable. But I know I was thinking about it last night on my way home where, have you guys ever seen the video where the bounce houses like fly away in the wind? So in real life, they happen. They get wind gusts, those bounce houses that, kids jump around on parties. They don't get secured down well, and they've literally flown away. You know, and that could be AI, it could be real, but some things are on that edge where we have to know what to look out for. So I know this might be hard to read here, but I'm going to go through this, some of the things that AI can do. All right, so instant draft generation. So it can write an entire email, summary, article, or presentation outline from a single sentence prompt. So you might type in, draft a polite email to my landlord asking about the broken dishwasher and suggesting a repair by Friday. AI will write the email, the full email, professional. All you do is copy and paste it, send that email out. All right. Tone and clarity adjustment. So can rewrite existing text to change the tone from professional to friendly, casual, or casual to formal, and corrects complex grammar and clarity issues. So how you can use this in the real world. Copy a confusing paragraph from a report. AI rewrites it in one click to be clear, concise, and easy to understand. Summarization of any text. So you take a huge article, a research paper, long email, even PDFs, upload them to AI, ask them to key bullet point, and you'll get that back in seconds. So you have a 50-page company report. What are 3 main takeaways, or what is the key budget number, are things you could potentially prompt AI into giving you information for. Text to image generation. Now we've seen a little bit of this. I didn't do an image, but we did do video. So you can create unique high quality videos, logos, or illustrations from a simple text description. Photo manipulation. You guys have used, the phones nowadays are doing a really good job of this. It used to be real hard 3-4 years ago to remove something from a photo, whether it was a person, a shadow, somebody walking by in the background. Now AI does that almost instantly and straight from your device. So you can tell AI to change the background of the photo, you know, give everyone in the picture a funny hat, and bam, you've got a new photo in seconds. Content remixing, take existing notes, ideas, or photos and generate new content. So you have new, fresh content just by giving it examples of what you've used in the past. So you give it a few bullet points about your last vacation. AI can generate a vivid, descriptive travel journal entry or a poem about the sunset. Contextual search, perplexity. Goes beyond a regular search engine by instantly synthesizing and citing information from multiple web sources to give you one comprehensive answer. So you ask, what are the pros and cons of an electric versus gas lawnmower? I know we don't have to mow our lawns here anymore, but I still have to mow my lawn. So AI give you a balanced, sourced comparison right away. A study/learning assistant. So it can explain complex topics in simple terms, generate flashcards, or create practice quizzes based on material that you provide. So you paste notes from a college lecture. AI asks you 10 personal quiz questions based on that lecture to test your knowledge. So you're able to have a test created for you that the professor is not providing to get you more available so that you understand that information to pass that test quiz, or to just know more information about the topic that you're studying. And then real-time meeting transcription. So it automatically joins your virtual meetings, and it'll transcribe the conversation, generate a summary, action items, and follow-up emails. I've had some of our vendors do this in online meetings, and it does a good job without having to remember to take notes, because we miss things and we get involved in that conversation. So again, you can focus 100% on that discussion, and knowing that AI will create that perfect record of what was said and what needs to be done. So, are there any questions that I can answer about anything that I went over today? Or anything else in general too? I'd love to talk.
The first video that you showed where the gentleman got the Microsoft indication on his screen, he turned his computer off, on, and every time he did it was still there. Now, how would you get rid of that without getting into it and getting scammed?
So the thing that you want to, when that happens, disconnecting it from the internet make sure that that scammer that has connection to your computer no longer has connection. So their connection to your computer is the internet. So whether that's Wi-Fi or you have a physical cable that goes to your computer, so that would be how you make sure that you can access the computer without somebody else being able to access it.
Okay, now all the things that you talked about regarding the computer and safety, how is your iPad affected to that? Like I know on my okay, I've got the iPad, the computer. If I delete something on the computer, it does not delete it on the iPad. If I delete it on the iPad, it deletes it on the computer. So if you run into some snags on the computer, is that also going to be something then that you've got to be looking for to care on your iPad?
So it really depends. It sounds like what you're talking about a little bit is cloud storage. So I see my iPad uploads my pictures to the cloud, and then I access those pictures on my computer via that Apple cloud or whatever cloud it is you're using.
Yeah, no, I just mean the things that happen that go wrong with your computer. Does that affect the iPad then too?
So it would depend. Potentially yes, but not always. So if you have a Windows computer, it's not generally going to be able to affect your Apple iPad. They're two different. They don't go together.
Okay.
But if you have a Mac and you have an iPad, the potential there is yes. So,
Okay.
Or if you have a PC and a laptop. Windows doesn't make tablets anymore, so that's not. they
Okay,
don't go
now this
together.
is probably an obvious for somebody else, but you're saying call the FTC. Now, I would be going on my computer to find out how to get in touch with the FTC. So if I can't get on the computer, how do I get in touch with the FTC?
Well, the first thing I think is reporting it to staff here.
Oh, okay,
So
okay.
that we can help you out, and we've done that numerous times as well. So we everybody here, whether it's resident services or IT, would be more than willing to give you that information necessary. You're welcome.
Hey, Scott, my name's Steve. I've been hit twice with a phone scam that I was not aware at the time. I have my phone, it's an iPhone, locked, that anything that's not in my contacts goes to voicemail. However, these phone calls came from my doctor's office. Have you guys seen this yet? The doctor's office comes in, it's all legitimate. The number came through my contacts. The guy started talking to me and said, the doctor wants you to do a lab test. Da-da-da-da-da, we don't need any of this. And then they switch you, they use names in the office. So I was going down the path, and then all of a sudden I realized this isn't legitimate. I hung up, called my doctor. They said, oh yeah, we've had it happen a couple times. I don't know if that's happening to other people here. But the problem was the first doctor was a gastroenterologist. And then in the discussion, they asked who my primary care was. It wasn't too long later that I got a call from my primary care doctor. All the numbers legitimate, went through my contacts. And that scared me to death. I called them and they said, yeah, we're starting to have trouble with that. They're simulating your doctor's phone number and name, everything, so that they come right through your contacts. I don't know technically how they do that, but I just surfacing that to you because that happened to me twice, but I managed to get it. It's a Medicare fraud.
Yeah, so it sounds like a little bit of we talked about spear phishing. So they're directing it directly to you, and that there was a data breach or they were able to get information about you and who your potential doctors were in order to make those calls. So whether the doctor was breached, whether Medicare had a breach, whether that information was gotten from some other information, right? And yeah, it's very easy to spoof a phone number. We set, like on our office phones, we set the external caller ID number to whatever we want it to be. Now we set it to our public phone numbers here, right? So most people that get a phone call, it comes from 386-775-3840. Call from Majestic Oaks, 386-775-2008. But I could set that to your doctor's office if I wanted to. And then I could make that phone call. And so it looks like, and your phone sees that it's a legitimate number, and then it attempts to come through.
I would add that with a healthcare organization, a lot of caller ID now is going to come up with that SIC code for the business. So if it's coming from your physician's office or a veterinarian's office, the caller ID may say healthcare and won't come up as the physician office name or number of somebody spoofing, because the phone company is running it through the type of business that, same with sometimes with John Knox Village, it may come up as healthcare versus as John Knox Village, and it's just another way for your phone carrier to kind of proof that it's legitimate and not spamming or phishing.
Interesting. I don't think I've seen that yet. But
That comes up for me all the time from my physician's offices.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Yes, sir. Thanks for the hustle, Shannon.
Okay, I got tagged with the birthday invitation scam, and apparently that got them into my contact list and sent an invitation from me to to all of my contacts. My question is, other than that, which is just a hassle, are you aware of anything that happened? Like, I mean, it obviously got into my contacts.
Was the Amazon issue after the birthday invite?
So what I found in talking with another resident that had the same issue and that same scam was that invitation and that link to that invitation asked you to download and install an executable file.
Well, I didn't do any of that.
And so, understood, but this is what, when I talked with the resident, is that file that installed ended up being a screen share application. And so that screen share application then allowed the malicious actor access to their computer. And so we went around, and she had come to, the resident had come to our digital drop-in, and finally got to realize, we went through, like, did you change your passwords to this and this and this? And, they were like, yes, we've changed all our passwords. And then come to find out, they had clicked on that link on their computer, and it didn't matter that they were changing their passwords, because the passwords were on the computer, because they were logging into Amazon and PayPal and these other things on the computer. So changing the password didn't do anything, because we needed to get rid of the access on the computer itself. So that screen share application is giving them access on that computer itself. But yeah, when those links happen, a lot of times they get access to your email. They get access to your email. They send out to all the contacts, because they want more and more and more people. The more they can get email access to, the higher their probability of getting additional access to more computers, more contacts, more people, in order to get more money, because that's all what it comes down to, is what they want, right? They want money. And so it's changing those passwords to email and make sure they don't have access to that, checking the sent box to make sure that there's nothing in there that came from them, and then notifying all of your recipients that, hey, I was hacked, or my email was compromised. If you received an email invitation from me, please ignore it. Any other questions? If anybody has a question that they don't want to speak up and ask, I'll stick around for 10 or 15 minutes. I'd be more than happy to talk to you one-on-one. And then also digital drop-in, second Thursday of the month, 2 p.m., multi-purpose room in Valencia Landing Clubhouse, Jacques Clubhouse, sorry. Yes?
I'm losing my words right now, but I've got that disk attached to my main computer, where then every day at the end of the day I do a backup to it. Okay, so if I have a problem with the main computer, is that going to also go in there and affect that?
So potentially yes. And again, it comes down to like what the problem with the main computer is. If you've got ransomware, which what ransomware does is it encrypts your files. It essentially puts a password on your files, and the malicious actor has the password. So if you copy the files that are encrypted to your backup drive, they're also encrypted there, right? And so it's, depending on the type of backup you have, backup services now will look for encryption, they won't back up and things like that. But if it's a manual backup, then yeah, they would transfer across and then they would still be encrypted. But in terms of like a malicious application, you can't install an application onto a backup drive. Now the executable file could be there, but the install, it can't install. Applications install on operating systems like Windows or Mac OS or your iOS or Android. So the answer is maybe, unfortunately. Are there any other questions? No? All right. I want to thank everybody for coming out today. It was my pleasure speaking with everybody. And again, on second Thursday of every month in the Jock West Clubhouse Multipurpose Room at 2 p.m. I would love to talk with everybody here, help you guys out on anything that you need. All right. Thank you very much.